Hello, everybody. So today's reading, you all know Harari, *Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind*. So I've already studied this now. The book pages 138. So okay, never mind. I will continue my reading and enjoy it. Writing is a method for storing information through material sign. The Sumerian writing system did so by combining two types of signs, which were pressed in clay tablets. One type of sign represented numbers. There were signs for 1, 10, 60, 600, 3,600, and 36,000. The Sumerians used a combination of base 6 and base to 10 numeral system. Their base 6 system bestowed on us several important legacies, such as the division of the day into 24 hours and of the circle into 2016 degrees. The other type of sign represented people, animals, merchandise, territories, dates, and so forth. By combining both types of signs, the Sumerians were able to preserve far more data than any human brain could remember or any DNA chain could encode. At this early stage, writing was limited to facts and figures. The great Sumerian novel, if there ever was one, was never committed to clay tablets. Writing was time-consuming and the reading public tiny, so no one once saw any reason to use it for anything other than essential record keeping. If we look for the first words of the wisdom reaching us from our ancestors 5,000 years ago, we are in for a big disappointment. The earliest message our ancestors have left us read, for example, 29,086 measures barely 13 months cushion. Signed cushion. Okay. The most probable reading of this sentence is a total of 29,096 measures of barley were received over the course of 37 months. Signed cushion. Alas, the first text of history contained no philosophical insight, legends, laws, or even royal truths. They are humdrum economic documents recording the payment of taxes, the accumulation of debts, and the ownership of property. Only one other type of text survived from these ancient days, and it is even less exciting list of words copied over and over again by apprenticed scribes as training exercises. Even had a bored student wanted to write out some of his poems instead of copy bill of sale, he could not have done so. The early Sumerian writing was the partial rather than full script. Full script is a system of material signs that can represent spoken language more or less completely. It can therefore express everything people can say, including poetry. Partial script, on the other hand, is a system of material signs that can represent only particular types of information belonging to. Look, see. A clay tablet, administrative text from the city of Uruk. Cushion may be the generic title of an office holder or the name of a particular individual. If Cushion was indeed a person, he may be the first individual in history whose name is unknown to us. All the names applied earlier in human history, Neanderthals and Natufians, Chowit Kev, Göbekli Tepe, are modern inventions. We have no idea what the builders of Göbekli Tepe actually called the place. With the appearance of writing, we are beginning to hear history through the ears of its protagonist. When Kushim neighbors called out to him, they might really have shouted Kushim. It's telling that the first recorded name in history belongs to accountant rather than prophet, a poet, or great conqueror. Poetry taxation system. Look, this. Okay. Okay, we have another 5 minutes. So let's continue. Spoken language partial scripts. 1 plus 1 equal to. Partial script cannot express the entire spectrum of spoken language, but it can be expressed things that fall outside the scope of spoken language. Partial scripts such as the Sumerian and mathematical scripts cannot be used to write poetry, but they can keep text accounts very effectively. Limited field of activity. Latin script, ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, and Braille are full scripts. You can use them to write tax registers, law poems, history books, food recipes, and business law. And contrast the earliest Sumerian script like modern mathematical symbols and musical notation are partial scripts. You can use mathematical script to make calculation, but you cannot use it to write law poems. It didn't disturb the Sumerians that their script was ill-suited for writing poetry. They didn't invent it in order to copy spoken language, but rather to do things that spoken language failed at. There were some cultures, such as those of the pre-Columbians, which used only partial scripts throughout their entire histories, unfazed by their script's limitation and feeling no need for full version. Andean script was very different from its Sumerian counterpart. In fact, it was so different that many people would argue it wasn't a script at all. It was not written on clay tablets or pieces of paper. Rather, it was written by tying knots on the colorful cards called cupies. Each cupie consists of many cards of different colors made of wool or cotton. On each cord, several knots were tied in different places. A single cupie could contain hundreds of cords and thousands of knots. By combining different knots on the different cords with different colors, it was possible to record large amounts of mathematical data relating to, for example, tax collection and property ownership. Explained on the zoo, a man holding cupie as depicted in a Spanish manuscript following the fall of the Inca Empire. For hundreds, perhaps thousands of years, cupies were essential to the business of cities, kingdoms, and empires. They reached their full potential under the Inca Empire, which ruled 10 to 12 million people and covered today's Peru, Ecuador, and Bolivia, as well as chunks of Chile, Argentina, and Colombia. Thanks to cupies, the Incas could save and process large amounts of data, without which they would not have been able to maintain the complex administrative machinery that an empire of that size requires. In fact, cupies were so effective and accurate that in the early years following the Spanish conquest of South America, the Spaniards themselves employed cupies in the work of administering their new empire. The problem was that the Spaniards did not themselves know how to record and read cupies, making them dependent on local professionals. The continent's new rulers realized that this placed them in tenuous position. The native cupie experts could easily mislead and cheat their overlords. So once Spain's dominion was more firmly established, cupies were phased out and the new empire's records were kept entirely in Latin script and numerals. Very few copies survived the Spanish occupation, and most of those remaining are undecipherable since, unfortunately, the art of reading copies has been lost. Okay, thank you very much. End stream.